Franck. He writes, this is off topic. You start talking about this during the 5 hour live stream, but you were interrupted by someone joining. You were speaking on religion not being patriarchal in nature. Can you elaborate? Thank you. Absolutely. Well, women are very clever, very similar to Israel. And though you might look at the man, the big, strong being, as the leader, but in the West, it is a patriarchy. So the woman, who is smaller in stature, is in fact leader. It is similar to Israel. Israel looks small and ineffective, and the United States looks big and powerful, but it's actually Israel running the show. It's kind of like the relationship with France's leader, Macron, and how his wife was basically embarrassing him and thugging him out in public. You think the woman is the lesser of the two parties, but really she's dominating. And this is true in religion as well. For example, the marriage institution is a religious institution. That institution benefits women disproportionately, particularly because the male is responsible for being the provider generally, right? And the provider means that you must go out in this world and find a way to earn, thereby enslaving yourself such that you have endless toil to provide for your wife and your children. That's never optional. Nothing about your week will be optional. You will have to work. And with the life of the children, they're carefree. And then the life of the woman, she gets to revert back to being a child with all of the joys of childhood, no responsibility, but all of the but none of the burdens of adulthood. Doesn't have to pay mortgage, doesn't have to pay rent, doesn't have to pay bills. And in your households, you guys are so weak, you'll even let her escape her basic duties like cooking and cleaning. So she can do any of her responsibilities optionally, whereas yours is required, which makes you a slave for a lifetime. And furthermore, just a quick note on marriage, and then back to the religion piece. In the West, you're so barbecued that as a man, that a woman can marry you, live for 20 years for free, doesn't pay rent, doesn't pay bills, hasn't even seen bills. And then for some reason, when she breaks up with you, you have to keep paying her bills. That's so strange. It's like she couldn't save money during the last 15 years when she ain't pay for nothing. Extraordinary. But for example, let's take Islam as an example. In Islam, the understanding is that a man's money is the family's money, whereas a woman's money is her money as an individual. So that means that you, as a man, are basically positioned to pay her bills so that she doesn't have to pay her bills and she can save the money and use it for discretionary expenses, meaning things that are irrelevant, hair, nails, or her other man. Furthermore, when you want to look at how religion does men dirty, it gives you unrealistic expectations of the female, and then you abide by these bygone things. For example, let us take the Christians. You have a wedding with a white dress and the woman is supposed to be a virgin. Let's be real. What percentage of women wearing white dresses getting married in 2025 were virgins in the United States? Probably less than 1%. But here's the extraordinary thing is that you guys still pay thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars for a wedding ring. And then, let me just fix this real quick. Not only do you get her an engagement ring, which is a bunch of money, then you have to turn around and get her another ring, a wedding ring, which is also a bunch of money. And this is all connected to your religion. Then you have to pay for a wedding, which is also very expensive. She's supposed to be a virgin, but she never is. And so that's a scam. You're paying to go through all this stuff that's supposed to be for someone who's a virgin and they're not. So it's like you're getting quadruple scammed. And then your religion has signed you up to love her in sickness and in ill health and protect her, which is to say, sacrifice your life for hers. But women bring most of the divorces. So you're signing a bad deal and you're doing it because you believe that your eternal salvation depends on it. That's messed up. Marry this brother, you're going to hell, right? So whether you're looking at Islam or Christianity, you're really screwed. And if you're looking at the way the interpretations of modern Christianity, you're even more screwed because you're told that you need to be monogamous. Now, whose nature does that appeal more to, the female nature or the male nature? It obviously appeals more to the female nature, right? And that she wants you to behave like her, which is to say the female wants to be monogamous. It's in her biology. And then she's forcing you to live like a female and also be monogamous. And the Christianity has basically caused you to live within a matriarchy, behaving like some sort of a female. But let me take it a step further. In Islam, the broads try to do the same thing that the Christian broads do, which is to say that they're going to tell you that, oh, yeah, it says you could have another wife, but you have to be fair. You have to be fair to them. And no man can be fair to more than one wife. And it's like, okay, well, then why did they even put that in the Quran? If no man can be fair, why did the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, have multiple wives? And he's a man. He's not God. He's not like Jesus, right? He's a man. And more importantly, why is that even in there? Why didn't it just say have one wife? Why would it even play games with us? So what they do is the females try to reinterpret Islam to make it fit their narrative. And then, of course, you have the beta males who are enforcing the foolishness. And so even though Allah, God, permits you to do a certain thing, the woman and the matriarchal culture in the religion that has been forced into the religion is preventing you from fulfilling your rights. But here's the kicker. The woman wants to fulfill all of her rights, but she doesn't want to let you fulfill your rights. So your religions are matriarchal structures that do not benefit you. like you're suffering actually. And what's worse is that you're voluntarily doing it. And if you look at who's actually adhering to the religions, the male or the female, well, generally the male is adhering to the religion a lot stronger than the females. And what's worse is if you raise up a girl as a religious person and you raise up a boy as a religious person, the boy is about to get the shock of his life. He's about to get the shock of his life when he starts dealing with this girl. Because if you look at all of the data, you see that young men are not having intercourse. Not that they don't want to, but many of them are incels, increasingly so. But the young women, it's not the case. The young women are still sexually active in significant rates. And not only is that with males, it's also with females. So if you have a religious female, air quotes, and a religious male, and whether they're Christian or Muslim, by the time they come to that wedding day, the woman is showing up with advanced skills in manipulation and a significant body count. The male is showing up with no body count or a very low body count, insignificant experience in the bedroom. So he can't please her. She's going to have a problem with that. And he doesn't know how to deal with her level of manipulation. So he's about to take an L because he doesn't understand her. He doesn't know how to influence her. And he doesn't realize that she's caught so many bodies she can't pair bond appropriately. So he actually tried to follow the religion, or he ended up following it just for the fact that, he wasn't the rich guy she was looking for when she was in her early 20s. And now that he's, 30, she's willing to settle down after she's been ran through like that ribbon at the end of a track meet. And now they're just on two radically different levels, and it's inevitably not going to work out. And when it's time for her to leave the relationship, he's still going to want to hang in there, one, because of his religious values, but also the way that's decided his life, how he's going to live his life, and what he, and also perhaps fear of burning in hellfire. Whereas the woman has no fear of hellfire because the thing that's real to her are her emotions in the moment, not her emotions over the last 10 years you've been paying for all her stuff, but just her emotions in the moment that she feels you did something wrong. Extraordinary. Anyways, thank you for sending in your super chat to have your question answered. Anyone else who has questions, you can use the information below. May I acknowledge Alejandro writes, peace of the saints. Keep telling the hard truth. It matters and we need it. I appreciate you. And I thank you for that because it's good to hear from those who really do appreciate the work and are thoughtful.